If I had a lean for the Super Saiyan pick early in the week, it's probably in this fight. Now, we went 5-2 with that last one with Miranda Maverick. There's talks of bringing it back down to 5-1 because, frankly, we'll keep it on the pick'em. Put up a vote on Instagram. Go vote if you haven't already. But that's a tough pill to swallow. Let's try not to think about it. So, in this next fight, we got Chris Gruetzemacher and Rafa Garcia. Now, I really want to point out something really interesting about Chris Gruetzemacher. The guy hadn't fought since 2017, other than his 2018 knockout of Joe Lozon. And the guy got Alexander Hernandez in his comeback fight. That's a very, very tough comeback fight for a guy who is very much carrying a game plan and style of fighting from borderline a completely different era of fighting. That's what makes me very concerned for him in this fight. I don't know the lines yet, obviously. I really do think that if this is under the minus 200 mark, Rafa Garcia has to be considered here. Now, the reason I say this is Rafa Garcia he's a Mexican fighter, came out of the combat, made his debut against Nasrat Haqparast. And that is a fight where you look at him, short notice, against a guy who strikes like Nasrat. The guy held his own. He did a bit of damage himself. Obviously, very hard fight. Lost it without question, but definitely one of those losses where you take more notes about what you can improve on than just sit there and whine about it, I guess. Very, very different experience for Chris Gruetzemacher in his previous fight, where he just wasn't able to time anything. He really looked like a fish out of water at some points there, and I just felt bad for the guy. I mean, it looked like he was trying to time things and find the areas where he can kind of lean forward and make some movements, but Hernandez's footwork and speed was just too much for him. And slowly but surely, between body shots and kicks and just big blows to the head, he knocked him out clean. And now I think that Chris Gruetzemacher is getting a bit more of a level playing field a bit. But, the thing with Rafa Garcia is, on the flip side, getting a guy like Nasrat Haqparast and then being such a good boxer with an underrated jiu-jitsu game, I think that this is a fight that he can win. Despite the experience that we've seen with Chris Gruetzemacher, that tough alumni status that he always carries, it's a really interesting fight because I think that what you saw in the Nasrat fight was a guy who was looking to be powerful, but was just taking on a guy who's just so skilled. And I think that from a creativity perspective, an athlete perspective, a speed perspective, I just give the edge to Rafa. Now, we talk about fight camps and how guys can improve. I also thought that Chris Gruetzemacher was fairly out of shape for that Alexander Hernandez fight. So where I'm going with this is, if he's coming in looking a lot better, say weigh-ins, we're going to rethink this whole thing. But outside of that, those are the things that make me really concerned, because the Nasrat fight was on short notice, which makes you think, wow, he looked that good. He was able to go that long. He was able to land some of his own blows, and the durability was there. Makes you really question just where both of these guys are going to be come fight night for this one. And so we talked about the keys already, right? Chris Gruetzemacher, he looked slower against Alexander Hernandez. In this fight, he has to be the first to punch. He cannot wait for the counter strikes, because a guy like Rafa Garcia is going to push forward. He's going to push forward big. He's going to throw big combos at you. Chris is going to throw very much that old school style of big power. He's going to come in with the ones, maybe the 1-2s, but he's not setting up 3, 4, 5 punch kick combos, right? And we even saw one of the combos he threw against Alexander Hernandez. It was just kind of like a few strikes, then a lazy kick at the end. And it just dawned on me how much we're watching this sport evolve, because I just think Gruetzemacher is a great example of just an old school UFC fighter that we kind of grew to love a long time ago. But now we're seeing the development of a MMA athlete, and it's just on a completely different level. And not to say that these guys are not there or anything like that, but it just seemed like in that fight against Nasrat, Rafa was able to do some serious damage. And outside of that, his striking game is there. His jiu-jitsu game is there. It's just he chooses to do a lot of damage on the feet. And so I'm really liking the speed there and just the combo opportunities. And I think this could get ugly if Chris isn't the first one to the punch, and using movement, avoiding that north-south style that, is kind of a dying breed now. I don't think there's much success left in that type of style. And so aggression, footwork, and boxing is going to be the keys right now for Rafa Garcia. With Gruetzemacher, it's going to be being first to the punch, proper defense, and also finding ways to make this an old school fight, right? Grind on him. make him fight an MMA fight where he's going to have to be up against the fence trying to get out of, pummels and making sure that he's not down on the ground up against the fence trying to get out of there. Just areas where you can at least use the control factor that TJ was able to exploit against Corey. Great example right there if, the striking game's not going so well for you. So let's take a look at the line. I really do believe that this line should be, I'm going to say between minus 150 to minus 200 just so I can make my Super Saiyan pick right now. But Rafa's got to be the favorite here. And I think that Chris has to be a dog of, between that between that plus 140, plus 180 range. It's really hard for me to not see that. So let's take a look. I'm going to pull him up right now. And oh, damn. So Rafa Garcia opens as a minus 175. And now we're seeing minus 280, minus 290, minus 250 some places. But Chris is shooting up to that plus 220. I'm seeing a high of plus 240 on some places. No reason to break this fight any further. I think we just know who can pull off an absolute underdog opportunity and who is looking like the clear-cut favorite going into weigh-ins and going into fight night. And may the best man win.